So I'm Lomesh. I'm the Vice President of Growth at the DFINITY Foundation. So what growth means at DFINITY is essentially helping build entrepreneurs and developers who are building on our Layer 1 protocol. So today's presentation is about build on the internet. So what does that mean? So before I get started, let me just give you a quick background about what is the DFINITY Foundation. DFINITY is foundation is based in Switzerland. We literally have like our engineers based there. So unlike a lot of other projects which have just an entity in Switzerland. So we are about 270 people, started back in 2016. The mainnet launched in 2021. And so what we are trying to do is, so just before I do that, like wanted to give you like a glimpse of how does the traditional blockchains work today. If you look at the current blockchain infrastructure today, blockchain is primarily used for like storing a ledger of tokens and small clips of data. So when people say that their NFTs are on blockchain, fundamentally it means is that there is a URL that points to an actual JPEG image or an NFT living somewhere else. Similarly, when people say that their game is running on the blockchain, the reality is that the blockchain essentially hosts the token interface, the token ledger, while the rest of the game is actually living on some kind of a cloud, AWS or Google, and so on and so forth. So when we say decentralized, what basically that means is like whoever is paying the credit card bill for AWS or Google Cloud is the off switch. So if you really want to kind of bring that down, all you need to do is just pull that credit card that they have deployed for running that game hosted on that cloud, and off you go. The entire decentralization story pretty much crumbles. So what we started with the question is like, can a blockchain run the entirety of humanity's software, not just token ledger? So there's the vision of internet computer as like a true world computer. We see blockchain evolution in 3 steps. One was Bitcoin, which is the classic digital gold use case. Then Ethereum came in with the construct of smart contracts, which like introduced to the world the construct of trustless computing. And what we are saying is like, if you think about internet computer, you should think about like, here's a blockchain that can let you run any form of software end-to-end 100% on-chain. So how does it work? First of all, the internet computer is comprised of like server-grade machines, which are operated by independent people across the world. Now, the thing that's fundamentally very different is that the internet computer protocol requires physical hardware. If you want to be like a node provider, then you need to procure the server-grade machine and deploy it at like a data center that you just need to kind of put it, partner with the data center and put it there. Why do we need that? So we wanted to ensure that the system is very performant with low latency, so it can serve any form of content. You want to stream videos, you want to build games, you want to kind of have NFTs stored completely on chain, you want to run a social network. All of those things are possible because you have these machines which are hosted at data centers where we can be guaranteed of like the throughput, like 10 gigabytes per second and so on and so forth. So then what we do is like we basically the protocol combines these node machines, these server-grade computers together to form what we call a subnet blockchain. And each of the subnet blockchain can host these really powerful smart contracts we call as canisters. So canisters fundamentally host a web standard based WebAssembly, which is like an environment for you to come and deploy software. And together, this is like a one giant world computer where if you keep on adding those server-grade software, you can essentially have like a true world computer, which can scale to any degree horizontally and can host any form of software. The other thing is like you can just interact with this from any browser. So just simply, if you want to interact with an application on a blockchain, you don't need a wallet like MetaMask or anything like that. You simply open your browser, you type in the URL, and you are essentially connected to the applications running on the blockchain. And so today we have like things like chat, messaging, business services, social networks, so on and so forth. Feel free to scan the QR code and see what is running on chain. Now, the fundamental difference here is like the entirety of this software is all being served from the blockchain itself. I'm going to talk a little bit about the internet-computer capabilities. So one of the first things is this is what we call the project code name is SNS, which is essentially a DAO factory. So the idea is any application developer can say to the internet computer governance system that turn my app into a DAO, which essentially means that tokens are generated and people can participate in the token generation event. They can procure tokens, and then they can essentially become the co-participant, the co-owner in terms of how the application works. Now, this is very different than a simple DAO where it's primarily used just to maintain the treasury or of tokens. We are talking about an entire app being governed by the DAO. So imagine you're trying to create a chat service or a social network. Then you could submit a proposal that, okay, we want to change the behavior of this like buttons, or we want to introduce a dark theme into the application. So the DAO can essentially, anybody who holds tokens can propose to the DAO that they would like to implement that code change, which could trigger the application to update itself. So because the application is completely living on chain, you can essentially embed a code snippet in the proposal, and that would essentially trigger the app to update itself, all governed by the DAO. So as an example, here's a chat service. You can log into oc.app. And this is a service that raised about $6 million in less than 6 hours by the user community. And it's essentially a decentralized version of WhatsApp or WeChat and so on, and which also doubles as a crypto wallet. So you can store ICP or native tokens, you can store Bitcoin, as well as you can share the tokens, cryptos with your friend over chat messages. And this chat service is completely built on the blockchain. There is no central party. There's no AWS or cloud that's hosting the service. So the internet computer smart contracts can interact with the internet computer smart contracts can interact with that too. So you can essentially call any external service. You want to build an Oracle, you want to create an email service. You don't need any Oracle. You can simply call the external web and fetch content similar to what you would. So it's fully integrated with the Web2 stack. The canisters can also own Bitcoin and other cryptos. So you can essentially, imagine a smart contract on internet computer being a Bitcoin wallet or Ethereum wallet. You can directly send Bitcoin without any intermediary or a bridge. And it can hold Bitcoin, it can sign Bitcoin transactions. The smart contracts on internet computer can sign Bitcoin transaction through something we implemented, which is a signature scheme of Bitcoin. So you can essentially pull the entire Bitcoin network, and you can, we have the entire state of the Bitcoin that's stored on chain, and you can sign transactions. So you have a replacement of a Lightning network, which can allow you to build DeFi using Bitcoin and soon Ethereum and other Ethereum-based tokens completely on chain. Just a quick glimpse of the ecosystem. So we have thousands of developers that are now building. So the protocol has been operational for around 2 years now. So any Web2 service that you can imagine, there is a version of that being attempted on the internet computer. There are products like Discover.one, which have almost 100,000 plus active users. Then we have a decentralized version of TikTok, a decentralized version of Twitter, Gmail, and so on. These are some examples and snapshots. This is a version of TikTok, Hot or Not, which can essentially let you predict which video is going to go viral, and you can essentially stake tokens to say if this video is going to go viral or not. And if it does, then you can essentially get more tokens. If it doesn't, then you lose your tokens. On Discover, you can build token-gated communities. So an example would be if you want to only give access to people who are holding tokens, NFTs, then you can create communities specific to that, which is gated by your ownership. When it comes to games, these games are completely being served from chain, which means that the entire NFT, all the assets, they live on chain. You can imagine making your entire game, or let's say a specific level of your game as an NFT, because everything is on chain. You can say my level 7 of my game is now an NFT, which I would basically sell to specific people, and then they can trade the level of the game, and you can gate access and whatnot. So it's not just a URL pointing to an NFT, it's the entire thing is on chain. We are also talking about DeFi applications, which are bridgeless, which means that the internet computer can directly hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other assets. So you can essentially create a multi-chain DeFi experience without any intermediary bridge to be hacked. All of these digital collectibles, they live on chain. There are projects like Portal.one where you can stream 4K videos completely from chain. Yeah, just a quick glimpse into our ecosystem. Happy to offline take a deeper dive into any projects that you may be interested in and help facilitate the introductions. Thank you.